All right, let's dive right in. We're going to talk about an ancient philosophy today that honestly feels like it was designed for right now. I'm talking about Stoicism. And look, I know what you might be thinking. Dusty old books, right? No. Think of it more like a powerful operating system for your mind, one that helps you navigate all the chaos of modern life. And it all kicks off with a feeling that's, well, super modern.
So let me ask you a question. Do you ever feel completely overwhelmed by things you just can't control? You know, the 24/7 news cycle, the traffic that just won't move, what other people think about you. Yeah, if you're nodding along, you're definitely not alone. It's kind of the defining feeling of being alive in the 21st century, isn't it? But what if I told you that like over 2,000 years ago, some brilliant minds in ancient Greece and Rome were wrestling with that exact same feeling? And here's the best part. They didn't just complain about it. They actually built a whole system to deal with it. So let's get into it. This is where we introduce that core idea, thinking of Stoicism as an operating system for your mind. Seriously, it's like an upgrade for your internal hardware that helps you process everything the world throws at you, but way more efficiently. Okay, so what is it exactly? Well, at its core, Stoicism is all about this idea that a good life, a life of peace and inner strength, comes from two things. One, living in line with reason, and two, and this is the big one, truly understanding the difference between what you can control and what you absolutely can't. And that last part, that is everything. It brings us to the single most important Stoic principle. Seriously, if you only remember one thing from all of this, make it this one. It all comes down to focusing on your circle.
This big idea has a name: the dichotomy of control. Sounds fancy, but it's actually super simple, and honestly, it's life-changing. It's the practice of just drawing a hard line in the sand between the stuff you can actually control and, well, everything else.
So let's really break this down. On one side, you've got your inner world, right? Your opinions, the choices you make, your judgments, the stuff that is 100% yours. And on the other side, literally everything else. Think about it like this. Imagine you're a top-tier athlete. You can't control if the crowd boos, or if the ref makes a terrible call, or if your opponent gets some crazy lucky break. What can you control? Your training, your focus, your attitude, and how you react when things go wrong. The Stoics basically said that pretty much all our stress and anxiety comes from us trying to manage that second list. The whole game is to shift all, and I mean all, of your energy to that first list, because that's the only place you have any real power. Okay, so that sounds great in theory, but how do we actually do this stuff in real life? Well, that brings us to the fun part, the Stoics toolkit. And these aren't just abstract ideas. These are practical, hands-on exercises you can use to build up that mental and emotional muscle. We're going to look at three really powerful ones. They have these kind of intense Latin names: Premeditatio Malorum, Memento Mori, and Amor Fati. Yeah, I know, they sound like a mouthful. But stick with me here, because they all work together as this amazing system for building a more resilient mind. First up is premeditatio malorum, which is just a fancy way of saying the premeditation of evils. Now, this isn't about being a pessimist, not at all. It's about being prepared. Think about it. Astronauts do this. They spend hundreds of hours in simulators running through every possible worst-case scenario. Why? So if something goes wrong, they don't panic. By visualizing what might happen, you kind of take away its power to shock you. You're basically rehearsing for trouble. So if and when it shows up, you're not just ready, you're calm. So if that first tool prepares you for what might happen, this next one is all about reminding you why it's so important to live well now. It's memento mori, which translates to remember you must die. And listen, I know that sounds super morbid, but it's actually meant to be incredibly motivating. It's the ultimate reality check, right? It forces you to ask, what really matters? It cuts through all the noise and helps you focus on living with purpose and passion today. And finally, we have what might be the most challenging tool, but it's the one that ties everything together. It's amor fati, or a love of one's fate. This is the idea that you don't just tolerate or accept what happens to you, good or bad. You learn to actually love it, to embrace it. It's this incredibly powerful mindset shift where you see everything that happens, even the setbacks you just prepared for, as a necessary and vital opportunity to grow. You know, the great Stoic emperor Marcus Aurelius, he put it perfectly. He wrote, "The obstacle in the path becomes the path." Just let that sink in for a second. The obstacle becomes the path. It's a complete 180 in your thinking. The problem isn't something in your way. The problem is the way. All right, let's bring this all home. How do we put all this ancient wisdom to work right now, in the 21st century? how do we take the obstacles we face every single day and turn them into our path forward?
Because the payoff, it's huge. When you start practicing this stuff, you build some serious resilience. You learn how to handle setbacks with grace. Your stress levels, they plummet because you just stop worrying about all the stuff you can't change anyway. Your focus gets laser sharp because you're putting your energy where it actually matters. And you start to feel this genuine gratitude for what you have right here, right now. It really is a complete mental upgrade.
So I'm going to leave you with this one question to think about. Look at your own life right now. Think about the biggest challenge you're facing. Instead of seeing it as this big, annoying roadblock, how could you start to see it as the path itself? What obstacle will you make your way?